Radhe Radhe Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Pavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Pati Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Radhe Radhe. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavashta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavalo Raghunatham Vipantam Sajivam Samvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavalo Lalita Shri Vishakam Vikanscha Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Shri Krishna Lila Pratane Sulaksham Audalya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahattam Narayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami Dridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Pada Jnataika Vrindi Chaitanya Lila Amrita Sara Sara Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Ashtakaneshwarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragya Keshavariti Namine Bhaktivedanta Charitraya Swashritanam Chamanine Jiva Dukhe Sadantayo Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya दैवाय कृपात्मये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैवे ब्रह्मवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनपालने रूपानुगनिर्भावो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षान्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे अदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकंचन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वप्नम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमद्रसरसारम्भे वंशिवतस्ततः कर्षन्वेणुस्वरगोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुतः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतं Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Page 359 in this book. And if you don't have a songbook, then we have Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. He very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to his most recent post and there you will find the bhajan with its translation and very often beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. 359.
Should I turn this off? No. Should I stop this?
Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Kave Sri Chaitanya More Kuri Bena Doya. Page Kave. Page Kave. Page 75. Kave Sri Chaitanya More Kori Bena Doya Kave Ami Pai Boy Shabpada Chaya Kave Sri Chaitanya Hariharaye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Page number Hariharaye Shri Nama Kirtan Hari Haraye Nama Krishna 148. And we're singing this primarily because of the prayers to the 6 Goswamis. And all Vaishnava. Hariharaye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hariharaye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan.
Shri Chaitanya नित्यानंद प्रभु, परम करुणा बाहु द्विजन निताय गौरचंद्र, page 84. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu He Emona Durmati. Page 66 in the songbook. If you don't have the songbook, then just follow Jiva Pavana Prabhu's most recent post, and there the bhajan will be.
And also he's posting so much nectar, so don't miss out.
Prabhu He Emona Durmati Samsaro Bhitare Poriyayachi Translation. O Lord, this is by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. I am so unfortunate to have fallen into this this material world, but you have sent an exalted soul, one of your own associates, to save me. Being compassionate upon seeing me in such a fallen condition, he said, O humbled soul, listen to this good advice by which your heart will become joyful. To deliver you, Shri Krishna Chaitanya has descended to the land of Navadvip. He has conducted so many poor and lowly souls like you across the ocean of material existence. In order to fulfill the promise of the Vedas, he has appeared with a golden complexion as the son of a Brahmana. Known by the name Mahaprabhu, he and his brother, the Avadhut Nityananda, have caused all of Nadia to become maddened in divine ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya, who is directly the son of Nanda, has saved the world by distributing his own holy name. You go also and receive your deliverance. O Lord, hearing these words, Bhaktivedanta has come to your lotus feet. Weeping, he tells the story of his life.
Sounds like an amazing story. So beautiful. So I gave us united.
I was thinking of the next one, Jayananda Nandana Gopijan Vallabha.
It's the next one?
Well, it's page 67.
Oh.
Jayananda Nandana Gopijana Vallabha Radhanayaka Nagarashyam by Govinda Das Kaviraj. He's the same person who wrote Vajahureman. Jaya Nanda Nandana Gopijana Vallabha Radhana Anupama Madhuri Jodi. Anupama, page 364. Krishna Kanaya Lal ki jai, Vishwanandani Srimati Radharani ki
So there's a question here, and it says, it's asking, are you there in person, Sudevi Dasi? I don't know if you mean like, are we in Vrindavan, or is it a recording of me in the background?
I just pushed play. I've got an instantaneous.
I think you're wondering if we're in Vrindavan. So yes, we are.
Maybe you could just like pop your face in and say Radhe for a second.
Radhe.
You didn't come in.
I did.
No, you have to come. There you go.
Radhe.
There you go.
I'm
Who
here.
knew she was shy?
Very camera shy.
You have a tune for me, Sudevi? Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's on page 5, usually. Oh, it's not on 5. Hold on.
They know the Maha Mantra, Kishori. Pick a tune.
It's on page 9.
Kishori Mohan Prabhuji.
Okay. Oh, that's what happened. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminitti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and saying thousands of Dandavat pranams in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, astottara shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj is paraphrasing the words, the teachings of Sri Narada Muni to Gopakumar, and he's giving beautiful commentaries on it. And within this discussion, so many important points are coming up for us from where we are now in our practice, or where we want to be, how to progress further, from a very realistic and practical perspective, using a little bit of discrimination. What is favorable, what is not favorable, what is bhakti, what is not bhakti, what's pretense, what's real, what does Krishna like, what isn't he attracted to. All of these things are essential for us. Otherwise, it's very easy to get caught up in the sentimentality of it. And I will explain a little bit about the sentimentality of it. The sentimentality of it would be like, and I'm going to use myself as an example from many years ago, probably around between 1990 and 1996, when we met Gurudev. Srila Gurudev began telling us what bhakti really is. And it's not that we didn't have access to it before, but we, meaning myself and my peers, my friends at the time, we were born and raised in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. As such, we went to Gurukul, we were force-fed so many shloks and so much knowledge or information about Krishna, but it's not like there was a strong depth of practice. That needs to happen on one's own accord. It can't be forced, as we discussed yesterday. So, as we're growing up and finding ourselves, we found that there were certain aspects of the path of bhakti that we liked, and other aspects that we didn't really like. We liked prasadam. We liked kirtan. We liked the charanamrit. We liked the festival days, the feast days. We loved the socializing. And we also liked when the deities were dressed really beautifully. So we were going for the things we liked. And so we would be there in kirtan, sitting down, singing and doing the kirtan. And we didn't like really much to sit in class. When I was very little, I remember we would start getting really tired when all the philosophy would come. And one of our teachers actually let us put our little mats over our backs, and we would go into turtle position, obeisance position, and fall asleep. And so this was kind of part of our thing. Not many of us were really reading and studying. Some were, but not really. Some were kind of going through, something is wrong, something is missing. I've read everything, but it's just something isn't connecting. Later on, I discovered what wasn't connecting is that even though they had read everything, they still had not accepted shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So of course it's not going to connect. But at that time, it was kind of, a little bit foggy, everything, all of these ideas. And so we would be there during kirtan. And what would excite us would be, oh my God, did you see it? It looked like the deities' eyes were moving. Or did you see it look like they were dancing? Now that's exciting and it's all fun and nice, but what were we doing with the rest of our time? Were we absorbing our energy in hearing and chanting and endeavoring to go deep into the path of bhakti? No, we'd go to the Sunday feast all together as a bunch of friends, and then we'd stop the person on the asan who was speaking 5 minutes overtime because we were hungry. So before they'd finish speaking, we would start sitting in the prasadam lines within the temple as a general kind of disrespect. And then we would all get up together afterward and rush to the movie theater to watch our movies together. So this is...
But they were Hindi.
Well, that particular one was Hindi. The point I'm making is, if one is still fully absorbed in the activities of the material world, then how is Krishna going to be dancing for you? So this was superimposition with our material eyes and our material sentiment based on no real practice. Nothing real, not really deep. But it was like, oh my God, did you see? They were moving, they were dancing. We started creating and concocting something. And it's nice and it could be a little bit inspirational, but did that make us really want to dive deep into the path of bhakti? No. Because we weren't under proper guidance. And we didn't want to accept guidance because we had lost faith in so many of our guides. So this created a situation where natural, spontaneous, sahajya started to manifest. Means superimposing the mundane on the spiritual or the spiritual into the mundane, mixing it and trying to make it into something else based on some kind of feeling or sentiment. That's why we don't just follow our minds, we don't just follow our senses or our hearts, especially when it comes to the path of spirituality or bhakti. Because we may make mistakes. Brahm, Pramada, Karanapatava, and Vipralipsa. These four things, these are the nature of the conditioned covering over the soul. I don't want to use the term conditioned soul because the soul in itself cannot actually be changed in its nature. But there's a covering, and we're functioning according to this covering, which is the subtle and gross bodies, made of mind, intelligence, false ego, and all of the material elements. So through the medium of our senses, we experience, and that experience we consider to be true or real. Although, Shastra says, although it is unreal. So, with all of these tendencies, this covering, we have these four defects that are ever present within the material, conditioned experience. And that is the tendency to come under illusion, the tendency to make mistakes, the tendency to have imperfect senses, and the tendency to cheat others, or to pass off what we think based on our concoction is reality. So these four tendencies are actually quite debilitating. And that is why it is required that we take shelter of the ambassador of Krishna, or the pure devotee, or Sri Guru, who will guide us. Therefore, the path of bhakti requires that one is under proper guidance if they want to move forward. Srila Gurudev explained, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, he explained that if one is not following their Gurudev, his moods, his conceptions, or her, who is pure, transcendental, if we are not following their moods, their conceptions, their teachings as it is, and we're becoming independent, we are bound to become sahajya. Means bound to create and concoct, and actually what happens as a result of it is it only creates so much unnecessary disturbance in society. Who is not following what is given in sampradaya bihinaye. If we are not following that, and we're just creating and concocting and making so many things based on sentiment, then, oh, I like this, I don't like that, okay, this is my process, let me throw out the essential ingredients that my Guru and my Guru Varga have given because it's not so important, and let me just accept what I like. You're making things up like that. What happens as a result? all kinds of abhiniveshata, mundane, selfish, self-centered, material desires spring up. All of these weeds, everything which isn't the real thing, manifests. And Mahaprabhu also warns to be careful. As our bhakti is sprouting, we should be careful to remove all weeds, all things which are unfavorable. Those weeds might look like the real bhakti creeper. And instead of taking care of the real thing, we will be feeding all of these other weeds, which will choke out the bhakti lata, the bhakti creeper. So Mahaprabhu warns to be careful. He says we should water that bhakti creeper with shravan, hearing. From who? From that person who is completely free from any material desire. And that person who has already developed their relationship with Krishna and is practically experiencing it. When we hear from that person who has that kind of attachment to Krishna, then we can also develop that kind of attraction and attachment to Krishna. So this Shravana and then Kirtan, what we have heard, we should repeat. Kirtan does not only mean going out in the streets and chanting Hare Krishna. That is not the only meaning of Kirtan. Even in this verse, Harer Naam Eva Kevalam, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explains that this means Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. And our Srila Gurudev explained that Harikatha is the most powerful form of Kirtan. When the pure devotee is glorifying Krishna, or if I'm outside chanting the names of Krishna, which one is more powerful? Of course, what is coming from the mouth of the pure devotee? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kori. By the words coming from the lotus-like mouth of Sri Guru, one's consciousness is purified. Look what Srila Prabhupada did. He sat with his eyes closed in the park, chanting the names of Krishna. And by that, so many people's hearts, and secondary and third and fourth, through that connection, through that, it was like viral. By the power of his connection to Krishna, Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, it was an explosion of Krishna consciousness which took place in the world. And it's still continuing to this day. Undoubtedly the most prominent means by which the name of Krishna and Mahaprabhu is spreading throughout the world. There's no doubt about it. So, all of these weeds, they come up and they look like the real thing. So, remove them and then water that creeper. Shravana kirtana jale koriye sechan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells, by hearing and doing kirtan means repeating what we have heard and also following the instructions of the spiritual master. Kirtan of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Kirtan of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srika Goswami, he's doing kirtan when speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. All of our Guru Varga are doing kirtan, whether they're chanting the holy name of the Lord, glorifying his forms, glorifying his qualities, glorifying his pastimes, or his relationships with his devotees, or even glorifying his devotees. This is very, very pleasing to the ears of Krishna, and he wants to be there to hear it. So kirtan is what is pleasing to Krishna, what attracts Krishna, what attracts his mercy. Golokera prema dhana harinama sankirtana. It is transcendental and descending from Golok, Vrindavan, into one's heart, Srila Gurudev said. This is kirtan. What is descending from there, from Krishna, into one's heart. And we will know when we're actually doing real kirtan, when we don't finish one kirtan and go directly into nonsense activities right afterward. Why? Rupa Goswami says, he's paraphrasing Srimati Radhika, Tunde tandavani ratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye karnakroda kadammani gatayate karnavudebhyaspriham Cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janitakya bhiramitai krishneti varnadvai. How much nectar do these two syllables, Krishna, have within them? When we say Krishna, and then the next moment we can talk about anything else. But Rupa Goswami is saying, how much nectar is in there? Oh, just the sound, the sweetness of that name. I require millions of ears to drink that nectar. It means real transcendental greed arises in the heart. And everything else becomes completely insignificant. I require millions of ears to drink that nectar, the sound of that name. Oh, and the sweetness on the tongue. Oh, this one tongue is insufficient. I require millions of tongues to taste the sweetness of that nectar. No time to think about anything else. And what happens as a result? All of the senses become inert. It means that they stop interacting with all of that outside world. Everything becomes completely turned in, focused. Why? Because that name Krishna becomes, in essence, entrapped. I want to use the word I used yesterday. Instead of the jiva being incarcerated within this material world, Krishna becomes incarcerated within the heart of the pure devotee. As, who did Krishna Karnamrita? Bilvamangal Thakur. He says, Braje prasidam navanita choram, choram graganyam, chadukula choram, aneka janmarapita papa choram, choram graganyam, purusham namami. Oh, he's telling Krishna, I will take you and keep you imprisoned within the prison of my heart, and I will never let you go. Now, this isn't it's not a sad thing. Krishna loves to be kept within the heart of his pure devotees, right? Within the heart of the pure devotee, Govinda is always resting. Tomar hridaya sada Govinda Vishram. Why does Krishna want to be there? Govinda kohina mama. He himself says, Mama Vaisnava paran. My devotees, they are my life and soul. Wherever my devotees are chanting my glories, wherever they're speaking about me, glorifying my names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, I am present there. I'm not present in the hearts of the yogis. I'm not present in Vaikuntha. Srimad Narayan tells Narada Muni, Naham vasami Vaikunte, yoginam hridayena cha, mad bhakta yatra gayanti, tatra tishtami Narada. That's where I reside, where my devotees are speaking about me, glorifying me, remembering me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned us, be careful for these weeds. And especially, put a nice, big, strong fence around your bhakti creeper, your bhakti lata. It's just like a little baby. It requires so much nourishment. It's just starting to sprout. That is shraddha, faith. Just starting. But very easily, so many weeds can come. But even more dangerous than that is the mad elephant. A mad wild elephant doesn't know what it's doing. It's just running through, completely crazed, and it will smash everything in its path. So Mahaprabhu warns against this mad elephant, which is Vaisnava aparad. It's called Hati Mata. Mad elephant. Vaisnava aparad means offending Vaishnavas. And there's so much to speak about that. That is not the focus of our discussion today. I was speaking particularly about these four tendencies, Brahm, Pramada, Karanapatava, and Vipralipsa. The tendency to come under illusion, and because we have imperfect senses, which is one of the tendencies, the other one is to make mistakes and then to cheat others. These do not occur within those all transcendental personalities. So it is essential that we remain under their guidance. If we remain under the guidance of the pure devotee, then even if a tendency comes to make Vaishnava aparad, because we're under guidance, they can quickly adjust us, correct us, and properly place us. But if we don't have that guidance, then very easily we can go down the path of no return or the path to hell. So it's essential that we're always under that guidance, that we don't venture off into the land of concoction, the land of exploitation the land of falsity, even in the name of bhakti. It's so easy. I know some people who come onto this class regularly, they have actually experienced this firsthand, where their own leader, who is in the role of guru, was just creating, concocting, making stuff up, doing all kinds of nonsense activities, and then trying to justify it to them in the name of bhakti, and completely bewildering them. And it really devastates the heart of a seeker on the path of bhakti. You become so confused. So confused. How do I reconcile such a thing? So it is essential that we take shelter of the words in Shastra. We should not dismiss them readily. Oh, me and my friends, we just like the sweet kirtan, and we like the prasadam, and we don't want to discuss jiva tattva. We don't want to discuss guru tattva. We don't want to discuss the teachings of our own Gurudev, what he valued. It's not important. Let all those things go. Let's just enjoy and have fun. This kind of mood is, according to our Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, the mood of independence, which will bring one completely in the clutches of illusion. No, I must be under guidance at every moment. If I am not, then what I have already received in my hand, those gems, those jewels that my Gurudev has given me, I can easily lose those. And our Srila Prabhupada said, the moment we are not absorbed in Krishna, how do we know how to be absorbed in Krishna? By following the instructions, the teachings of our Gurudev, and trying to hold on to them with as much strength as we can muster, and not letting go. If we just try on our own to please Krishna without that process, it won't work. Holding on to the teachings of our Gurudev. If we do that, then we have hope of serving and pleasing Krishna. If we go out in the path of, on the chariot of the mind, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Manorathena, the chariot of the mind. It means mental speculation. If we follow the path of mental speculation, where will we be? So Srila Prabhupada said, the moment we are not absorbed in Krishna or Krishnamaya, Maya will immediately flood that place. And we can find it ourselves. If we're not constantly absorbed, if we're not under guidance, if we're not serving, if we're not being kept active in Krishna consciousness, then what happens to us? Even if we're here for 3 hours at a time, we've got bhajans, we've got the discussion, we've got the reading and the discussion on that. Then we have Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Darshan of Thakurji, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then what happens before and after? We know, we all know what happens to ourselves. It's because I'm making 3 hours for Krishna, but maybe I'm not making 10 or 15 or 24. Baby steps are good. Sudevi Uvacha, it's true. But our Srila Gurudev explained. He said 16 rounds a day. How long does that take us? How long does it take, Sudevi?
2 hours.
If we're chanting with decent quality and absorption, it can take 2 hours. Now, how many hours are in a day? 24. So 2 hours out of 24 is 1/12. That's not, what is it, 8.25% of our day for Krishna? Krishna wants 100%, not 8.25%. So then we can find, okay, I've given only this much. Gurudev said only 2 hours. He said it's not enough to control one's crazy mind. He said maybe 64 might help. And I've noticed personally, when I was chanting 64, when you stop, it doesn't matter whatever you're doing in the rest of your day. Whether you're taking a shower, whether you're having a conversation with someone else, you're brushing your teeth, taking Mahaprasad, doing anything, driving down the road, what happens inside? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. It keeps going. You can raise your hand, I can't see it. But if you've experienced that, what to speak of? Double that. I remember in 1996 when Srila Gurudev first came to America, we were in Seattle with him, and he was asking, he said, should I stop doing what I'm doing and chant 16 rounds a day? Because for more than 50 years I've been chanting at least 1 lakh, if not 2 lakhs every day. So Gurudev was asking this question, do I have to just drop down to 16? Would that make me acceptable? And for me, that was so impressive. My God, he's been chanting 2 lakhs minimum a day, or 1 lakh if he's really busy with other sevas. That's 64 or 128 rounds a day. My God. And he said, if we're only absorbing ourselves for a couple hours a day, it's not enough to stop the influx of Maya. And so we can feel it in our own lives. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Many years ago, Sudevi and I, we made a kind of a deal with each other. Because sometimes we wanted to get something which maybe was a little bit mundane. Maybe, we saw something like a magazine on the rack as we're going through, buying our groceries. So, get that magazine.
This is like 26 years ago.
This was like 26 years ago. But somehow we felt a little bit like, okay, so how do we curb that appetite? And so we decided, okay, whatever we get, we have to give equal that amount to Krishna, to Thakurji. So if we paid $3 for that, we would have to give $3 there. If we wanted to go to the movies, and this was a long time ago, like 26, 27 years ago, but if we spent $20, then we would have to give $20 there. We couldn't afford it. It started becoming expensive. If you just give half to Krishna, means equal to Krishna, it's just too much to afford. So then we had to cut that. We had to cut those things and instead just give to Krishna. He's very tricky how he works like that. But even he doesn't want equal. As our Gurudev said, he doesn't want our remnants. Krishna wants 100%. He wants everything. That's why he says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Give everything exclusively to me. Mam Ekam. One-pointed, exclusive. This is what he wants. And if we turn toward him to offer him ourselves, he is so attracted to that. So attracted to that. Srila Gurudev told maybe he doesn't take notice. If we're just busy and happy in this material world, he doesn't take notice. Okay, you're doing your thing. Good luck. Have fun. And even then, Srila Gurudev said he's too busy playing in Vrindavan. His mother, his father, his friends, his gopi, Srimati Radhika, one little insignificant jiva, wandering in this world trying to pretend that he's God and playing the role of the enjoyer. I'm better than everyone else at everything. This nature, everyone should give me so much honor and respect. I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. All of these tendencies that grow within us. This does not interest Krishna. We'll have to be in such a way, like the fruit seller, that Krishna will jump off of the lap of his mother and run. What is it? Why are you so eager? Gurudev said, do or die. How can we develop that mood? How can we develop that mood? Only in the association of those persons who have that kind of mood. Why did that fruit seller develop that mood, that intensity, that I must have darshan of Krishna or I cannot maintain my life? How did she even get that mood? By overhearing the glories of Krishna as spoken by the Brajavasis. As they were speaking about Krishna, their love, their mood, everything was manifesting from their heart. And this inspired that mood in her heart. as fire spreads from one tree to the next, that mood spread from them to her, and that awakened within her. And with that intensity, with that greed, that desire, Krishna was bound to run to her. And he fulfilled all of her desires. The same with the wives of the Brahmanas, the Yagyapatnis in Bhatrol. They also developed that mood of serving Krishna. Why? They had overheard from the gopis how beautiful Krishna is, how beautiful Balaram is when they are going to the forest in the morning. And they desired within their heart, we also want to serve Krishna, we want to see Krishna. By hearing, by overhearing this katha as what was spoken, from what was spoken from the gopis. And this increased this Krishna seva vasanam within their heart. The desire or the inclination to serve Krishna manifested or awakened in their heart by hearing the glories of Krishna, overhearing the glories of Krishna from the mouths of the gopis. So how essential is it for us to be in the association of, under the guidance of, and hearing from the mouths of the gopis who have manifested in the form of our Rupanuga and Guru Varga. We are indebted to them, but it is essential that we hold on with everything we have to receive what they want to give us for our own spiritual benefit. Let me just see here. Is there anything? Sudevi Uvacha. Okay. So now we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha together. This transcendental treasure is one of the commentaries of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj on the beautiful manifestation of the samadhi, witnessing the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, of Sri Sanatan Goswami. What he manifested in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there are two parts. One is the progression or the levels of devotees, and the other is Gopakumar's progression from the stage of being in this world, the stage of sadhana, all the way to the stage of perfection in his form of a cowherd boy, Sakya Bhav, in relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is a summary study of that journey of Gopakumar, and we have come to the very last chapter, chapter 12. So before entering into this beautiful treasure and investigating some of the jewels within it, we will pray in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami to our Srila Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripamudirayaparadukudukhi Sanatana Swam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. So yesterday, Srila Gurudev spoke about making the endeavor as soon as possible before it becomes too difficult for us to change. And yet Sudevi gave such a beautiful bit of inspiration that even that 90-plus-year-old man, Srila Gurudev requested him, can you do one thing for me? When you wake up in the morning, chant one Mahamantra. When you go to bed at night, chant one Mahamantra. And the man was like, I'm too old to start adding new things like this into my life. I can't do it. And Gurudev said, but for me. Because that man actually said, you can't cheat me. I know who you are. You are an angel. And he was trying to kiss Gurudev's feet. And Gurudev's like, no, you're like my father. And this man was trying to, he's like, please, can I kiss your feet? You're an angel. I know. Don't cheat me. You're an angel. And Gurudev and him were having this beautiful banter back and forth. But then Gurudev requested him and then said, for me, can you do it? And the old man said, yes, for you I can do it. So, as Sudevi said, Sudevi Uvacha, baby steps. From there, he's beginning. He doesn't even understand what's going on. He has this feeling of appreciation for a pure devotee. And that pure devotee is looking at this jiva thinking, through this medium, that appreciation he's having, I can give him Harinam. Jiva duke sadataya Shri Nama Prema Daine. Seeing this conditioned soul. And his Gurudev once looked at one devotee and said, on your forehead I can see 10,000 lifetimes. But of course, Guru can see everything. All of our past and all of our future, if he wants. Trikalagya. Why? Because Guru is the manifestation of Paramatma from within the heart. Jive shakshat nahitate Guru chaitya rupe. Because the jiva cannot detect the presence of the super soul within, that super soul, chaitya Guru, manifests externally to the external senses of the jiva, means of this body, the external senses, in order to interact with us. That is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. So that same Paramatma, the indwelling super soul, manifests to our external senses in the form of Shri Guru. So how can he not know? Gurudev said, therefore Guru is more Sarvagya than Krishna. More all-knowing, because Krishna is too busy playing in Vrindavan to think about all of these things. But it is the function of Gurudev to understand and see and know what we have experienced, what lessons we have already learned, what we need to learn so that we can make our journey toward perfection in the most clear, fastest, and auspicious way. This is the function of Shri Guru. So he knows and sees everything, past, present, and future. He knows what's going on in our hearts. So Srila Gurudev was telling us that before the age of 40, hopefully, we can develop very strong samskars, impressions, and sukriti. This is what Ajamil did. When he was young, he learned so much because he was a good devotee and a pious brahmana. So he was doing all kinds of bhakti activities, and this developed impressions within him. So he had so much bhakti samskar and also so many sukritis, but due to asat sangha, bad association, what was that asat sangha? He witnessed what would be equivalent to pornography today. He saw two persons absorbed in illicit sensual activity, and it inspired within his heart so much, or awakened within his heart so much lust, that he forgot all of his spiritual activities and went after that personality who is said to be a prostitute. And he completely forgot all of his spiritual activities. To please her, he was engaging in so many sinful activities, stealing, killing, and doing so many other things. He was doing so many simple activities. But upon his deathbed, he was calling for his son in great fear. Oh, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Feeling that he needed help because his subtle body was being ripped out of his gross body by the Yamadutas, the messengers of death. So he was feeling so much fear. At that time, he was calling to his son Narayan. In the commentaries of our Guru Varga, they explain that at that moment, calling his son Narayan, he remembered his previous impressions. And by that remembrance, it was like a namabhas, means some purity of heart manifested. And because of that, the Vishnu Duta showed up. And then, of course, we know the whole saga which took place where he was given a second chance and he was not taken by the messengers of death. And then he endeavored exclusively for perfection. So these impressions are so important. Whatever we have not done up until now, Srila Gurudev said, we should begin now, today, this moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. We don't know if we have tomorrow or next month or next year. In one moment, some little red button can be pushed by some crazed personality and poof, everything we thought we knew and all of our attachments could be finished in a moment. We don't know. or anything can happen. I always just kind of look up in the sky and think, it doesn't take much. One little meteor this big. It just has to hit the right place and it's finished. And when I was not younger, but I remember reading about this in Mexico. On New Year's Day, so many people are so happy, they shoot up into the air, right? When everyone's doing their fireworks, people shoot their guns, and those bullets go up, they hit their terminal velocity at a certain point. They hit that state where they turn around again, and by the time they come back to the ground, they're going at the same speed as they're leaving the barrel. And if it happens to come through your roof, and you're sitting on your couch reading your book, finished. One moment, done. And it has happened, and it does happen. So we don't know when our time is. But whatever time we have now with us, we should utilize as much energy, as much time in the endeavor for perfection. Building those samskars, building that means those impressions, building those spiritual merits, taking shelter, taking advantage of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Kirtan, Thakur Seva, Mahaprasad, all of those activities that are favorable for bhakti. And if we forget what's favorable for bhakti, just read that bhajan, Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajana Anuku. Actually, it's so much fun, really. And it's delightful. All of the aspects of bhakti, if we approach it with the proper mood and conception, then it won't be a drag, it won't be frustrating or disappointing. What is frustrating and disappointing is when we're not following it properly and then we're not realizing or experiencing the true results of what should be the effect. As our Guru Varga have said, it is a scientific process. If we follow that scientific process, then we will receive the result. You mix this plus this, and this is the result of it. If we follow it in the proper way, according to what our Guru Varga have given, we will experience that result. Shraddha, then Nishtha, then Ruchi, then Asakti, then Bhav, then Prem, Sneha, Mam, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag. We'll find that process awakening within our own lives if we're following it properly. So it is essential to follow properly, to be under guidance, and to take advantage of whatever opportunity we have now and not waste it. As Srila Gurudev said, certainly before the age of 40, a person should make the decision to fulfill the aim of human life, because after that age, after the age of 50 comes, then there's even a greater chance that it will be too late. At that time, we may hear everything, but still never muster the firm determination to do what should be done. And I can tell you honestly and frankly, in terms of my own capacity to learn verses, shlokas. Every shloka I've learned from before 10 years old, I remember very easily. From 10 to 15, I need a little brush up. Maybe if I say it once, I'll remember it really well for a year. From 15 to 20, a little bit more difficult. From 20 to 25, more difficult. The point I'm making is now when I learn a shlok, I have to kind of learn it again every few months. Even if I spend a lot of time learning it, I have to brush it. And I might not remember where it's from, or I might forget some part of it. You know, Anyavilashita Shunyam Svabhakti Shriyam. You know, we start mixing verses and things like that. So that's a memorization thing. That's not everything. But even in that, it's easy to forget. Oh yeah, I think, was it Gurudev who said this? What happened? And we don't have that same inclination. Honestly though, if we have true interest in something, then practically at any age we can receive and accept and absorb ourselves in it. How do I know this? You know, there's so many devotees now who know a lot about the current politics in America. I don't know how they know so much, but they do. But that's because it's the subject of interest. There are so many devotees who know a lot about the pandemic or the scamdemic. A lot. Because that's what they're studying. It's the subject of interest. And also, let's say some are watching their favorite TV series. They can tell you what happened in that day and the previous one in graphic detail. Graphic detail. Because that's their subject of interest. And if that's not it, then that last person they had a crush on, they can tell you everything about that person in graphic detail because that's the subject of interest. If we can turn our interest toward Krishna, Hari, Guru, Vaisnava, Shastra, then being absorbed in that subject, it will also flow and manifest just as easily as memorizing what all of the latest gossip is of this world. What is that news channel? The Daily Mail. I think it's from England. The Daily Mail. It's so absorbing, isn't it? Every Facebook is so absorbing. This is our subject of interest. Then we can absorb our mind in it and instantly recall it, even at the age of 50, 60, or 70. All of these things. My grandmother used to tell me so many things about so many things of this world, all of the politics and who did what and this and that and everything else. And she was 80-something years old before she left this world. She was in it. She was up to date and she knew what was going on. And she could complain about it just as good as anyone else. Can't believe they're doing this. This is complete nonsense. She knew it. If we take shelter of the pure devotees and associate with devotees, then we will also develop that kind of mood of absorption that they have in Krishna. And then what will manifest or come naturally will be topics of Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. Absorb your mind always in thinking of Krishna, chanting the names of Krishna, worshipping Krishna, offering your obeisances to Krishna. All of these activities of bhakti will create complete absorption. And then also we can easily learn the language of our Gurudev. We can learn the language of Shastra. We can learn all of these things if we are really absorbed and attracted. Why we don't become absorbed and attracted is because we are intentionally or without realizing it, dividing our time and our energy. As Gurudev said, wife, children, house, family, obligations, responsibilities. And he came to the last finger and he said, and then where is Krishna? Like this. He told me that personally. Yeah, it's shocking. I thought I was a good devotee. And he's just like, and then where is Krishna? And I was like, oh my God, he already wasn't that one finger. So I just divided a tenth of a, down to this 0.001%. At that moment, I felt like the smallest particle of dust on the floor. I was like, you're right. This was one of the special gifts of our Gurudev. He didn't want us to pretend that we were great devotees. He wanted us to understand where we were and to actually make real, honest progress from where we are toward perfection. If we're pretending, then we cannot wake up. So, okay, this is where I am. I don't need to make any justification, well, actually, I'm a really good devotee, even though I'm a complete nonsense. No, I'm a nonsense. I admit it. And I also have some attraction to the pure devotee, to the message of Krishna, to the idea of Krishna. So let me somehow move in a way that will increase that will maximize that will take me away from my bondage to this material energy, which is just bringing disappointment again and again, and let me somehow turn more of my energy, my time, my thought processes, my vacho, my mana, my jihva. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jihva vegam, udarapashta vegam. All of these urges that we have, which we apply toward the material energy, if we just apply that toward the spiritual energy, it will bring perfection. So always engaging the vacho, the tendency to speak, in speaking about Krishna and topics relating to Krishna. The mind, always thinking about and speaking about, but thinking about topics relating to Krishna. Even anger. Utilizing that if someone is offensive to Guru and Vaishnavas and Shastra and like that, and cutting their tongue with Shastric argument. Jihva vegam, the tongue always wanting to taste everything. Use it to serve Krishna in the form of Mahaprasad. All of our urges, all of our senses somehow dovetailing toward Krishna. As Kapila Dev says, the same attractions, the same attachments, the same bondages that we have toward this material world, if we just turn that toward Krishna or toward the pure devotees, then already the gates, the door to liberation is wide open for us. So now I must continue reading. Oh my God, sorry. I do have to read because I need to finish this before Kartik begins. In the name Gop Kumar, what is the meaning of Kumar? He is at a very tender age, and he met his Guru at that age. Kumar means very young. Even after millions of years, Raj Kumar means the prince. Raj means king, and Raj Kumar, it's like the young king, it means prince. So Kumar is young. Even after millions of years, when he finally received such mercy that he met Bhagavan, he still remained as a Kumar. From the day of meeting his Guru, he slowly came to understand Siddhanta and became determined. This is an important point. He slowly came to understand Siddhanta and became determined. So through receiving the transcendental knowledge as given by Guru, right? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seva upadekshanti te jnanam. He will manifest that knowledge in our heart. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita, that knowledge. And that knowledge will manifest or awaken this in us. By that knowledge, then we can have determination. What is that determination? Which direction we will go. We will be determined. Krishna also says that in Bhagavad Gita. Through this buddhi yoga, through this knowledge, this intelligence, we will be able to become detached from the material things of this world, understanding them in terms of their true nature, their temporary nature, and then be able to fix our mind and fix our goal. So that determination is there. And that is essential for forward movement on the path of bhakti, as is described in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita. In the third verse, Utsahan Nishchaya Dharyat. Utsaha means enthusiasm. How can one be enthusiastic? You need to be enthusiastic about something. So, enthusiasm can only be really present if there is a goal. And that is one's determination. That is my goal. I'm fixed on that. I will not let my sight off that. I will not give that up for anything. That is called nishchaya, determination. And dharyat means and patience. If I don't receive it today, or tomorrow, or even within 100 years or 1,000 years, still I will be patient. Okay, it didn't come, but for sure it will come one day. It must come. And I will not give up that hope or that determination. That is nishchaya. So, here he says, He came to understand Siddhanta and became determined. He never abandoned the chanting of his Gopal mantra. So he heard it from his guru and continued to chant it, never giving it up. Whenever he went, wherever he went, he kept the same determination and he never changed his aim. So, according to this katha, he didn't really know that his eternal form was as a cowherd boy. Otherwise, he would have bypassed so many, you can call it, so many of the planes of existence that he went to. But he was determined to continue following the order of his guru to chant this mantra regularly. So through that determination, everything was manifested. Wherever he went, he kept the same determination and never changed his aim. We should follow that example. If our aim remains correct, then Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, in the form of a Vaisnava, in the form of a Shiksha Guru, and in other forms also, will give us help in the midst of our progress and send others to help us as well. Krishna made so many arrangements and came in so many ways to meet with Gopakumar to continue encouraging him. Now, all of these different forms Gurudev told, you can see it. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. This is Krishna coming in all of these different forms. Previously we were saying that it is Krishna who is manifesting, Paramatma, in the form of Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. So he's coming in all of these different forms, as Gurudev or Vaishnava or Shiksha Guru, other forms, to help us and to help our progress and send others to help us as well. Who sent Narada to Gopakumar? He met Narada in Vaikuntha, and Bhagavan, as the super soul, helps devotees in this way so that they can attain the goal of life. So who sent Narada? Krishna says, I, dwelling in their hearts, give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. How does he give it? Manifests as guru, spiritual guide, teacher. He gives help. If one is inclined in such a way, then he will direct you in that way. I give the understanding by which they can come to me, if one is sincere. So, one who instructs us on how to attain Bhagavan is Guru. For this purpose, Narada is wandering throughout the world, and it is through such a devotee that Bhagavan can help us. That is usually how Krishna or Bhagavan helps us. His mercy takes a form and comes to us as Gurudev, Krishna Kripa Shri Murti. And through that medium, Bhagavan tells us what he wants to tell us. And through that same medium, we also can tell Bhagavan what we want to tell him. Bhagavan is like a father and Jagat Guru. Jagat Guru means Guru of the whole universe. They say, Bande Krishnam Jagat Gurum. Now, Krishna is the Guru of the entire universe. And he's also like a father. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father of everything in existence. The initiating spiritual master, the Diksha Guru, is also Jagat Guru and like a father. The initiating spiritual master is also Jagat Guru. This is quite interesting. Is he only Jagat Guru to his own disciples? If he's a bona fide, qualified Sri Guru, then he is Jagat Guru to everyone. Why? Because he's the direct manifestation of Chaitya Guru, the Guru of the heart or the super soul, manifesting outside. So our Srila Prabhupada in his his heart's revelation on the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in 1936 in Bombay, now known as Mumbai. He spoke on his Pushpanjali, the disappearance of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, that Guru is one who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. In essence, there's no real difference between this Guru and that Guru. Guru is one, the principle is one, and that principle is Guru of the heart, who's manifesting in so many different ways. And our Srila Gurudev used to also, I wouldn't say he was paraphrasing that, but he also spoke something indirectly, but similar to that. He kept saying, same wine, new bottle. It's the same substance coming in a different form. The words might be coming out differently. The form, the physical form looks different, but the same essential substance is there. And our Srila Prabhupada also wrote this in his commentary on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the method of one acharya may be different from that of another acharya, but the essence and their purpose is the same, to help somehow or other to bring the conditioned soul toward its eternal loving serving nature of toward Krishna. I can't remember the quote exactly, but I believe Jiva Pavana Prabhu knows where that quote is. So, I wanted to make the point that Sutta Goswami is glorifying Sri Shukadev Goswami. And our Gurudev would say this prayer every single day before class began. Yam pravrajantam anupetyam apetykrityam dvaipayano virhakataryajuhava putreti tanmayataya tarvo binedus tan sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. The last line there says, Tan sarva bhutam hridayam munimanatosmi. I see that my Gurudev is situated within the heart of every living entity. Sarva bhutam, every living entity, hridayam, within their heart. So he understands this principle of Jagat Guru. Jagat Guru means Guru of the entire universe. The initiating spiritual master is also Jagat Guru and like a father. But the father will not instruct his daughter how to serve her husband. Who instructs the daughter how to serve her husband? The mother. She understands this principle and she learned from her mother and she learned from her mother. So there's a father lineage and a mother lineage, and both are coming at the same time. He will not tell her how she is to behave when alone with her husband. Her mother will also not say so. Who will say? No. Her close friend will be able to tell her. So David was like, the husband. True. Yes, the husband will tell her. But her close friend will give her some advice, some tips. Mother can't say, the father can't say. The example is also there that Krishna Chandra is the beloved son of Nanda Baba. And Nanda Baba's younger brother is Sunanda. Though living with both of them, Krishna is more affectionate with Sunanda. Does anyone know why? How is it that Krishna is more affectionate with Nanda Maharaj's younger brother, Sunanda? His uncle, but younger brother. What?
Because he can be more open with him. In Nanda Baba, he's shy.
Not shy.
There's some fear there.
Because according to Vedic scripture, a father must give some discipline to his son for that son's benefit. I remember reading this from Srila Prabhupada. He was saying that traditionally, the father might not even always keep their son on their lap, because the son might become too familiar with the father, and then the father won't be able to give him discipline for his own benefit. So the father, even though it breaks his heart because he feels so much affection for his son, still he has to keep a little bit distant so that the son maintains a little bit of honor and respect. I remember when I was working in Fiji, probably 1997. 97, we had this 300-acre farm we were managing, and 10 people were working for us, and big farms growing kava kava and taro root. Big processing thing going on. Everything was recycling. It was just this big whirlwind of bondage in the material world. And I needed one person to look after everything when I was traveling to India. And I needed him to manage. And he told me, well, the first thing I'm going to have to do is fire this one. I'm like, but that guy's the most important person who's working for me. I said, why would you need to fire him? He said, because we're close friends and he won't respect me enough. And I was like, what? He said, if I ever try to tell him to do anything, he'll be like, come on, we're friends, we're buddies. Why do I have to listen to you? He said, so I'll have to fire him first. And it was the first time I understood that concept. Wow. If you are too friendly, over-friendly, and too familiar, then that same kind of respect doesn't come. There needs to be some kind of sternness. That's why Mother Yashoda lifted a stick to Krishna. He was like, he actually felt real fear. And he was running away. And when she caught him, he was crying, real tears. In the scripture it said, that person whom death itself is afraid of. Fear personified is afraid of him. He was in fear of his mother Yashoda. So she pulled rank by her love and affection, but she had to show him, I'm in this position. Nanda Baba also. So Krishna respects him. Krishna puts his shoes on his head and walks to serve his father. But Nanda's younger brother, the uncle of Krishna, Sunanda, doesn't have that same, you could say that the same respect factor or fear factor there. So he can share, or Krishna and him can be a little bit more open with each other. It is described that he associates more with Sunanda, is more affectionate with Sunanda. Sunanda is somewhat older than Krishna, but he is Nanda's youngest brother. Therefore, he is Krishna's dear friend, and like his father also. So there's some respect and honor, but they have a close friendship. He can fight and quarrel with Krishna too, which means Krishna can fight and quarrel with him, but Krishna can't fight and quarrel with his father. There needs to be proper honor and respect with his father like that. So he can fight and quarrel with Krishna too, but when Krishna wants his father to agree to something, he approaches Sunanda, and Sunanda makes Nanda Baba agree to it. He is very intimate with Krishna. So this is a very beautiful, I've never heard this before, not that I recall, or seen this before, but Gurudev is giving us a glimpse into the sweetness of this beautiful relationship, this private life of Krishna. How Krishna's relationship is with Nanda Maharaj, how Krishna's relationship is with Nanda Baba's youngest brother, Krishna's uncle on the side of Nanda Maharaj, and the nature of their relationship. How beautiful is this? So he is very intimate with Krishna. Similarly, like a father, Bhagavan himself will give us less instruction, but he will give it. In another form, he will give it in great detail by sending someone who is dear to him, and that person will tell us everything. So Bhagavan himself, the Father, is sending that person who is dear to him, that is Krishna Priya Jan, Sakshat Haritvena Samashta Shastre, Uktashtatha Bhavat Eva Sadvi, Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. Oh, but although he's non-different from Krishna, in one sense, still he's different. He's Ashray Tattva and also very dear. So he's the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead and as a dear servant. Kintu Prabhurya Priya. But he is Krishna's near and dear. That is Sri Guru. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he says in Sri Manashiksha, that also Mukunda Preshtha Pe Smaraparam Ajashram Nanumana, that we should see Sri Guru as the nearest and dearest Mukunda Preshta of Mukunda, Krishna, the giver of liberation. So through this medium, Krishna is able to communicate with us, not directly as a father, but through this medium, or transparent via medium, that is Sri Guru. Through that medium, Krishna is able to communicate with us. And Srila Gurudev explained that sometimes even Diksha Guru might be a little bit too formal a relationship. And so we may need to take association of Shiksha Guru, whom we can have a very intimate relationship with, whom we can open our heart to more fully than even directly our Diksha Guru. And he will speak with us, oh, how are you? How is your wife? How are your children? What's going on? Really, really personal, like that. And then you can open your heart in return. Basically, what's that word? When you like deactivate, or I can't remember it at the moment, but disarming. It's disarming. In front of Guru, it's like, Gurudev is coming. I remember Bhaktivedanta Maharaja telling how when they would just say Gurudev's name, oh, Narayan, Maharaja is coming, everyone would be shaped up, they'd be cleaning and doing something, because they had this healthy, fearful respect. Because Gurudev was so strong, uncompromising. But when Shiksha Guru comes, you might be able to have a more disarmed kind of conversation. Oh, he's approaching me as a friend with some affection. Oh, okay, I can share the depths of my heart with him in a different way. And so he has a way of connecting in a more personal way that will allow us to open up and then, like an expert hunter, you're putting nice food out there for me. Oh, we take the bait and then, yeah, he's also the non-different representative of Krishna. We've opened our heart and then Krishna can take that. So, in another form, he will give it in great detail. Krishna will give it in great detail by sending someone who is dear to him, and that person will tell us everything. In the form of the instructing spiritual master or Shiksha Guru, Bhagavan will tell one everything. Bhagavan will tell one everything. Narada, as the Shiksha Guru of Gopkumar, will tell him things that Jayanta, Gopkumar's Diksha Guru, would not tell him. Just as the greatness of the Diksha Guru has been described, in the same way the glories of the Shiksha Guru have also been described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures. What is the time? It's time. So this point is extremely essential and important. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat both describe that there is no difference between Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, because they're manifestations of the same Chaitya Guru of the heart. They're not different. One is Shiksha Guru, Krishna Roop, said to be the form of Krishna. And the other one is Shiksha Guru, Krishna Swaroop. Swaroop means own form or qualities or nature. So One is said to be Krishna's Roop, the form of Krishna, meaning Bapu, and the other one is said to be instruction or Vani, basically the essence of the instruction. But they're actually not different from Guru in the heart, who is non-different than Krishna himself. So what is their purpose, their function? All of their purpose and function is somehow to collect our energy, our time, our intention, and our everything, and direct it toward the service of Krishna, which will make Krishna happy and which will definitely make us happy forever. So it's not that one should just randomly accept some Shiksha Guru. Well, you know, they're Shiksha, they're good enough. Are they good enough to stand in the shoes of your Sri Guru, your Diksha Guru? Are they good enough to claim that they are the same wine, that they are not different? Are they changing the precepts, the teachings, the essential moods, the teachings of our Guru Varga, our Goswamis, our Gurudev? Or are they maintaining that? Are they increasing our faith in our Gurudev? Would I be comfortable to take my Gurudev's shoes off of my worshipful altar or whatever and let them stand in my Gurudev's shoes? Do I have that faith that they are that non-different? Maybe the words are different. Maybe the face and the form, the physical form might be different. The complexion might be different. How much hair might be different. How they pronounce their words. Our Gurudev was joking once. Yes, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was using the word unalloyed devotional service, and I'm using pure bhakti. It's different, but the essence is the same. There's no difference. So he kept saying, same wine, new bottle, except for one time. Gurudev was like, it's not even a different bottle. I'm not even telling anything different. It's the same, it's the same. Gurudev was saying, it's not even different. It's the same thing. I'm just telling the same thing. And he was showing us where everything he was telling you can find within Srila Prabhupada's books. So Shiksha Guru must be on the level of Diksha Guru for us to be able to consider them the same. And the function of Shiksha Guru, there may be many, but there will be one main one, that will be our Bhajan Shiksha Guru. The function of Shiksha Guru is to increase our faith in our Diksha Guru. If he tries to take your heart for himself, your faith for himself, and takes it away from your transcendental bona fide Diksha Guru, then our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj says that he's not even a Vaisnava. He actually said this kind of thing is actually demonic behavior. It is not Vaishnava behavior. And on a good note. Yes. So, now that time is late, we are so fortunate that we have received within our lives the opportunity to take shelter of, to meet, to hear from, and to follow the instructions of such amazing, transcendental, bona fide Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus. And this process is never ending. We should not lose hope. Our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj has explained that to think that there is no pure devotee available in this world for us to take shelter of, this is an atheistic opinion. Why is it atheistic? Because this whole material world's function is to somehow give us this opportunity to connect, to be able to awaken our eternal relationship of loving affection with Krishna. And that connection is made via the medium of the spiritual master or Sri Guru. So this material world is always with a pure devotee.
That means it exists, they're here.
If it were to be without the presence of a pure devotee, it would cease to exist in a moment. Said Srila Gurudev, said Srila Govinda Maharaj, and so many other acharyas. It would cease to exist because the purpose of this world is for Krishna to give his mercy. And how does his mercy come? His mercy comes in the form of that Ghanaganatvam, that rain-laden cloud that pours that rain of mercy on this blazing forest fire, that is Shri Guru.
And the lucky
Guru Shri.
thing is that we are all in need of mercy.
Perpetually.
So it's great. Perfect combination.
So Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. That is why we are always praying. And Srila Prabhupada said, it is the eternal function of the spiritual master to help the fallen conditioned souls. So if that is their eternal function, then we are eternally hopeful. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavatamrita Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Because Srila Gurudev was talking about Guru being like the father, I just remembered something as I was doing the kirtan. Very short, many years ago, probably 1998, 99, Gurudev was asking for someone to lead kirtan, and Krishnadas told us this afterward. Krishnadas was telling to Gurudev, Kishori Mohan, have Kishori Mohan do the kirtan. And then Gurudev was like doing something else. And Krishnadas told us, he told Gurudev, he said, he's good, he can do it. And Gurudev said to him, Ami Jani Amar Chele. And I asked Krishnadas, what does that mean? And he said, Gurudev said, I know, he's my son. And it just melted my heart. Angni Jani Amar Chele. I know he's my son. So I just remembered that at that moment, so I just wanted to share it. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. So, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Bhagavatam Gauri Guru Varga Ki Jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Radha Manaju Ki Jai, Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Hari Rama Sankirtan Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaur Premanande. So thank you all very much for being with us today, giving us the opportunity to remember and reflect upon the beautiful instructions and teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. And also, we are feeling completely indebted and also very humbled and full of gratitude to all of you for giving us the opportunity for doing our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinu Bihari Ju Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sachinandana Gaur Hari
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.